Like so far, I feel taking Caesar as an opener is pretty useless. It's a bait. Same thing for Incitatus. I think that's how we pronounce his name. Let me first Travian Kingdom new chips. There we go. So I honestly feel that this is a bait for starter. This is a bait for starter, but let me expand in a second why. It's not a bait if a full team is like feeding one of the guys to build a quick hammer, yes. But if I'm talking about solo gaming, like everyone for on his own or whatever, it's useless. It's a bait. You're not gonna be able to perma produce in the beginning, so it's pointless. So usually the best starter is Cleopatra for sure, the best one. Then the second best is Edith or Arleno, but Arleno is epic, so usually you're not gonna be able to utilize it. So Edith is fine as a secondary champ. The first one should always be Cleopatra because of the additional what's it called? Like the fact that you're getting more resources will help you to scale faster. It's as simple as that. Edith, in a way, is providing you resources because he's reducing the crop cost. I agree and disagree at the same time. It depends on a lot of factors. Are you talking about Caesar and Incitatus? If you are talking about this, I disagree on what I'm saying. Only if you're playing with a team and they're helping you to be able to perma produce with Caesar on. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it because you're not even gonna be able to, like, there's some scenario, for example, you want an extra 50 units or an extra 100 units quickly. Okay, fine. There's some scenarios like this, but being able to permanently utilize it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's pointless. Because you're not even gonna be able to perma produce barracks with barracks level 20 anyway. So what's the point of having this? Oh well, I can use the resource from upgrading barracks from level 14 to 20 instead of paying all of that cost. Then I use Caesar. Yes, in that scenario. That's it. Like if you have barracks level 5, it's not worth it. Level 10, it's even not worth it. But higher level barracks, when they start costing like 100k resource or 80k resource, then in that case, I understand maybe it's not worth it for a week or whatever. That's a pretty good scenario though. Yeah. But I mean, in terms of longevity, I would never recommend, like, let's say 90% of the scenarios, everyone should start Cleopatra, 90%. There are some scenarios where Caesar is usable for a week, 2 weeks, if team is helping you and they want you to crash as soon as possible. These are like 4 or 5 scenarios max in which I understand the usage of Caesar. Otherwise, like, that's it, getting the first like quests. So maybe for quests, like, you can maybe argue that this is fine, or even this, I don't know, it depends on the tribe, but yeah, like it's very situational, I would say. You can't say that in general Caesar is good, because it's not. It's a bait to new players. New players should always rely on Cleopatra and never on Caesar, especially new players. Teams with coordination, with plans, they know what they're doing, they can utilize it. So and the scenarios as expected, like, they are countable. Like, you can count them on both hands, you know? There's not a lot of situations where Caesar is good. That's the whole argument, I have to say. So unless, for example, you're a big team, oh, there's 2-3 Nators near you, you have players going as Teuton spamming clubs, boost them, give them resources, let them get as quickly as possible these clubs, destroy the Nator. In this scenario, understandable. Other than that, it's arguable. And yeah, so basically that's the my take so far on Caesar. I would never recommend it to beginners, ever. And they shouldn't get baited by this increase in production. For our argument, it's not really argument, it's just like discussion. Let's say clubs. Here. I want to check something, to be honest. I'm not sure about something. Let's say stable level 0. Okay, so in 1 hour, I'm producing 37 at level 20. I want to check something. If I put 50 here. Alright, so this is basically Caesar when it's maxed. And then you add 27% with helmet, for example. This is this. Yeah, it works. So the math can work. So instead of doing the math, I'm gonna use it here. So early Caesar, I think it's you can get 20%, right? Or only 10%. Wait, there's an ad incoming, click me dismiss. There we go. So I think early Caesar is 20%, right? With one upgrade. I don't even know because I'm not using Caesar. So base is 20, then 30 with the upgrade. So let's say 30%. Okay. At what training time is it cap plus that you won't get faster training time? No, you will always keep on like for example, so let's take the standard speed. Standard speed on average, you will have 22% the whole server on average. Of course, on tier 1, tier 2, it's less than 22, and by the end, it's 27, plus the fealty, so it's 32. So on average, we did the math, it's 22. So let's say 22%, and let's say early game, you have like a barracks. I'm talking first week, level 8. You're producing 13, okay? And you're paying this. Let's do this. Oh, actually, in the beginning, you don't have 22%. Let's remove this for now. Let's remove this. Let's put it 10 and level 8. So this is the actual cost per hour in the beginning. We're playing times 3, so let's use times 3. Let's do this. So barracks, level 8. Okay. We're not applying Caesar or anything yet. Nothing yet. Just let's evolve gradually. Next step is alright, next step is going to a village. So you have a 4-6. Let's say you max it. Maybe you will have a bit more. Let's say 20%. If you're lucky, more. Then let's say 10%. Okay, let's say this. Maybe less, maybe more. But let's say this is your res per hour. My guess is that cap is 0 second. No, I think it's something close to 30 seconds. No, actually 20 seconds. On X3 speed, actually. It's almost 20 seconds. So yeah. So this is your total res per one village. Caesar on Mayhem, sir. Please no. Please no. Plus vacation bonus. Oh my yeah. Okay, so we haven't reached the cap of how much you're producing per one village in the early game. Let's now add, where is it? Oh, let's go back here. Stable 0. We set barracks level 8. Now let's add, we had 10%, right? And now let's add the 30% from Caesar, which is gonna be now 40%. Let me put it here, just below it. So already we're gonna have to trade some wood. Already we're starting to have like NPC / gold / trading in the market. Things we have to deal with already. Just with one village at level 8. So this is plus Caesar. So already we'll have an issue on level 8, bro. Level 8 barracks plus Caesar is already a small issue. You can NPC, sure, but personally I'm never gonna NPC that much right from the start. Never. Alright. I just wanna see the maximum in the beginning is this. Holy shit. If you actually get barracks level 20, it's gonna be plus 40%, yeah. This is the cap. Yeah, hideouts would cover this for sure. Okay, now I'm seeing the max. Barracks level 20 plus Caesar. This is the max needed, not now. This is the max needed, which is about 3 village and hideouts, or 4 village and you can do it permanently. Technically 3 village and trading iron. Okay, let's start adding this. All right, so this is barracks plus GB plus Caesar. 10% helmet. So in terms of villages, let's see how many is this. There we go. Oh, sorry. I actually have the answer here. So if you don't want to NPC anything, it's 15 villages. Of course, you're gonna trade an NPC and hideout. So this is actually like around 10 to 11, I would say. Oops. 10 to 11 villages. Maybe even less because you have so much iron actually. Let's make it favorable a bit to wood. So let's do like 25. Let's take this value. Let me see here. So 450. So this is 405. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, I mean, you still kind of need, if you don't want an NPC, you still need like 10 to 11 villages, I would say. And this is, wait, forget about this. Where is the Kilroy? Jesus. Okay. Wait. I think in the early game, no one is gonna get great barracks. I mean, maybe someone will, but I mean, it's very rare. Anyway, let me just do this as a calculation for now. The beginning is this as a maximum. We need this, which is about, as we said before, which is about like this. So 3 villages, 3.5. Yeah, you don't need 3 villages. Yeah, technically 3 villages and hideouts, let's put it that way. Or 2 villages plus hideouts, but you're not gonna be able to grow. So 3 villages, do barracks plus Caesar. All right, let's add stable, I guess. I don't think stable is gonna be high level early game, but anyway, let's put it like this. The Khan S will rush GB? Of course he will, man. Holy shit. He has a lot of resources. Oh, by the way, we prepared the sieges and I missed them. I missed the first one. I just noticed. All right, let's cancel the first one. Next one is in 4 minutes. All right, let's try and remember. Oh, God. We are here. No, it's fine. It's fine. So let's add. So this is with stable level 20 plus barracks and Caesars. All right, now in terms of village required. All right, we're closing in on 5 villages. You can potentially say this is 4 plus hideouts, potentially. Let's add rams. So our new total is this, plus this. So this is, sorry, stable 20. Total. Rams, new total. So now it's gonna be this divided by 1 village. So we need now A2, I would say about 7 to 6 villages with good hideouts. And now if we don't have Caesar 30%, what will it be actually? I just want to do this for a comparison. So barracks level 20 and only 10% from helmet. There we go. Let me do a comparison here. It's gonna be like a whole village difference-ish. And that's my whole point. Which is, since you need an extra village, just start with Cleopatra. Use that extra crop, maybe even NPC that crop, for that extra village. It's gonna be a little bit more than 1 village. That's my whole point. Already it's gonna be this, divided by that. There we go. Instead of 3.5, now it's 2.3. So absolutely a whole village difference because of Caesar. And the same is gonna be when we add stable and workshop. So this is my exact idea. Just start Cleopatra, use that additional crop, even NPC if needed, in order to be able to get that additional resource for the new village. And then you'll be able to use Caesar. This is my whole argument. To be able to rush this as quickly as possible, you need that 1 extra village. Like we can see 2.34 villages needed to produce the wood instead of 3.57. Just start Cleopatra, NPC, scale faster, whatever. Once you have 2 villages, you can use both. Exactly. Once you have 2 villages, you can use both, but you still need that 3rd village for Caesar. Cleopatra will help you. So, hey, we are on the same side, but what I'm trying to do is never start Caesar. Never. It's pointless to start Caesar because either way, you're not gonna be able to get like barracks level 20 perma production unless you have 3 villages. So might as well start Cleopatra, rush as quickly as possible, and then get Caesar on the 2nd village or whatever. That's my whole argument. So never start Caesar, except as I said before, if you have a team, if you have a target of clearing Natar, if you have whatever. And even so, actually, I would even argue to start Cleopatra on the 1st village, because you have like, I would say you have a clean 15 plus hours on an X3 server usage of Cleopatra, at least, if not more. And that's additional resource, like you can't argue with basic math, you know? You're gonna have more crop, and as simple as that. No, always start Cleopatra. Like for example, I wanted to try how it feels to manage the resources using Caesar on the first 2-3 days. It felt good having more units and being able to attack and whatever, but it's useless because you won't be able to sustain it, and eventually even the crop deficit starts like eating up on you. So it's kind of useless to start Caesar ever. Always start Cleopatra. That's the whole idea of what I discovered. I mean, we all know this, but testing it and seeing the numbers and how it feels when you play it, and now doing the math to actually prove it. Now this is just the whole like idea of this discussion. So always, like, I recommend Cleopatra no matter what. You will always have at least like few hours of usage, maybe a whole day, maybe even more, and then you can switch and do whatever you want depending on the scenario. If you're getting boosted, if you're taking Nator, or just stay with Cleopatra for a while. Anyway, so that was point one. Point two. Alright, we have a major issue. Major issue. Where is it? If this guy is gonna be tier 2, because they said epic, epic means tier 2. If this guy is gonna be tier 2, then the whole Travian Kingdom now equals just play Teutons. Because Teutons will usually Teutons outscale any other tribe in the early game, and they get more hero levels. They have access to Oasis attacks more than any other tribe, Roman or second, and goals suck versus Oasis usually unless they have started spamming enough swords, which isn't very efficient in the beginning anyway. But regardless, we always know Teutons are strong in the early game. Mid game, Romans start scaling and kind of catching up, but they never catch up until the late game. And goals never catch up unless you're super good with looting and spamming villages using the like weak cost of settlers and everything. And they never catch up until the end in terms of off players. I'm not talking about def, I'm talking about off only. So we always knew this, but now what's happening is we're giving access for Teuton players to scale even faster and have more impact on Oasis, on robber hideout, on looting, on attacking active or inactive villages. They're so much faster than any other tribes. And why am I saying this? Is because if I'm playing Roman, I'm usually gonna scale with EIs, me personally. And with EIs, it means I need to spam cavalry. And if I have this unlocked at tier 2, it means clubs and Teutons now have a whole tier 1 advantage on me. Because I'm never gonna use Caesar as Roman. I mean, Empyrean, on it personally, I'm not saying it's bad, but personally, I wouldn't attack Oasis only with Empyrean. I would much rather attack with the Eye because it's much faster, it's more efficient, and overall I can loot with them better. So I prefer spamming EIs. So my whole argument is, now I'm like, I have to wait a whole tier like until tier 2 so that I can start utilizing a champ that gives me increased production speed, whereas Teutons have been doing it since whole tier 1. So now the gap is even larger than before for Teutons. Now Teutons have a whole tier 1 advantage on other tribes. Unless you want to spam Empyrean, which personally I don't like. And I can make the same argument for goals. I understand that spamming swords is OP and it's good, but in terms of looting, in terms of wait just a second, in terms of looting and in terms of attacking Oasis, again, goals have a different issue. One, they can't really attack Oasis with TTs because it sucks. And if you wanna spam hate ones and be enough player, it's gonna take much more time to scale because of how expensive they are versus TTs. So as a goals, you have another issue, which is you can't really scale your hero as fast as Teutons and as fast as Romans, simply because you don't have access to Oasis attacks as much as Teutons and Romans have. So this is a general fact, nothing is new, but now it's also accentuated that Teutons are even more faster than Gauls. This is nothing new, but just the fact that Caesar is tier 1 versus this guy is tier 2 means Teuton spamming clubs will outscale any hero from other tribes. You will never catch up in terms of levels, which means off operation with Teutons, good luck defending them. Good luck having the same impact as Teutons. If you're a Roman or Gaul, it's never gonna happen. And if you're a deaf player, now you have a bigger issue, which is the hero gap between off player and deaf player, specifically Teuton player, is gonna be twice, if not even more, bigger. So usually you would have, I don't know, let's say before tier 1 ends, I'm giving a random number, you would have enough hero around level 40. I don't know, I'm just creating a random number, maybe it's more, maybe it's less. And at that time, a deaf player is around maybe 10 to 20, level 10 to level 20. Now the gap is much larger. Now the off player already has maxed strength and maxed attack bonus. Not to mention much more troops, much more everything. So as a deaf player, this is a completely different topic. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do versus these buffed Teutons? They're just scaling much faster than any other tribe. They're much scaling than the deaf issue is a different topic because we all know that these champs favor off players, except for a few like Cleopatra could scale with good defensive player and support players for sure. And but like this and being able to scale, attack, whatever, how do you deal with this as a deaf player? And not only this, can you keep up with the pace of Teutons? I've said the same idea 2-3 times, but I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, this needs to be dealt with. And if we want to maintain the same balance that Roman, like, we always knew that Romans are weaker than Teutons in the beginning, but if you want to keep it the same, in terms of balance, at least put this tier 1. At least put it tier 1. Because you're just saying, guys, go play Teutons. But by making Incitatus tier 2, you're just saying, oh, go play Teutons. That's it. Like, no matter how you look at it, because spamming Sword or Empyrean, it's not gonna be as efficient as clubs. And for Roman spamming EIs, it's never gonna be better, like, to spam Empyrean rather than EI, and so on and so forth. But how fast is it once you get the tier 2? With helmet and the faster horse training. I mean, by that time, if your village and as a kingdom you haven't been destroyed, you can have a chance of catching up. But I mean, I'm talking about good players utilizing all of this early Teuton advantage, and basically any attempt of defending versus these, I don't know, early level 40, early level 50 Teutons hero, any attempt of defending a village is gonna be like a loss. And not a simple loss as usual, but an accentuated loss, because the hero is higher level and the attack bonus is higher and the total strength is higher. So by that time, when you start to catch up, maybe you're already done as a kingdom. Maybe you're already, like, good luck, you know what I mean? Like, might as well just play Teutons and get this advantage and abuse it, you know what I mean? Why play Roman and golds if you can just play clubs like Teuton clubs and get as ahead as possible as an off player? Don't give a chance to the defender on the other kingdom to scale. Like, just attack them as soon as possible. You don't care if you crash, because even if you crash, the losses that you get versus the losses that the defenders get are way different. Like, you lose 10,000 resources, they lose like 50,000 resources. It's like the gap is huge now. So I don't know. To me, it's so obvious that there's something that needs to be changed, because like otherwise every server is gonna be like 90 Teutons per kingdom, you know? What the fuck do you do? Next message. It's rock, paper, scissors. Teutons counter Def. Def counters EI, and EI counters Teuton. Too bad. Kinda just turns the rock into an iron ball. Yeah, because of dodging. Yeah, that's another topic. Exactly. Let's open this topic. Alright, so let's say as a kingdom, as a player, you're like, I'm just gonna have to be patient and find when this guy is sleeping or is inactive, and then I'm gonna try to cheese him and kill his clubs and catch him off guard. Well, never mind. Good luck. Well, at least in the beginning it's not 100%, and it's not until tier 3 that it's maxed, I think. Let me check. Which one is it? Yeah, this one. Yeah, it's not until tier 3 that it's maxed, but like being able to still dodge most of it plus boots of chicken. Like, how much is boots of chicken early on? So 23% and 250. And how much can you get in the early big level? You can get 50% and plus another 20%. I mean, you can kind of hide like 3/4 of them, which is, I don't know. Like, the only counter, or even if golds were attacking Ori-I, like, what the fuck do you do? like do something to give, first of all, do something to give other off tribes a chance to scale as fast as Teutons. That's one. And then give a chance for deaf players to actually play the game. Otherwise, you're just saying, don't play as deaf. Just everyone go off and try to destroy your enemy before they destroy you. Like, you know, like I'm being punished if I decide to play deaf without even starting the server. Just if I decide to play as a deaf player, I'm being punished. How do you scale? Like I did suggestion with my, like with the boys I was discussing before. What would be like ideas of how to balance it out? First of all, for other off tribes, we did like propose the idea of making Incitatus tier 1 if they're not gonna do anything about Caesar in terms of the changes. At least make Incitatus tier 1 so that also Romans can be like, so people are at least encouraged to play Romans and Gauls. Otherwise everyone is gonna play Teutons. That's one. Two, maybe give deaf players, not deaf players, but whenever you're defending in the early game, maybe give a buff. And this buff, like for example 30% defensive buff, I don't know the exact percentage, but give them a buff, and this buff is like loses value over time. And if we can't keep the same value on the whole server, because in the end defensive players should catch up and outscale the off players. So if we also leave that buff, then good luck breaching any wall. So this is why, like, give a buff, let's say 30%, 40%, and as the server progresses, you decrease this buff to 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, whatever. So give a chance to the deaf players to actually play the game. Otherwise, any trade you do is a loss. Any like attempt to defending versus a heavy Teuton tribes, it's a loss, it's pointless. Like, there's no need to even bother trying. Yeah, you can crush some of the armies, but eventually you will get outscaled in terms of production, in terms of just repetitive crashes. You can't outscale Teutons and the levels they have as elite. So that's my main issue with this change so far and how it felt after the first week. Like, I'm already looking at the levels, and I'm like, some now this is not accurate because some of them are buying scrolls, but like most of them are Teutons, like Teutons. Of course, there's gonna be someone who's not Teuton, but he's probably buying scroll. His name is MCity. Let me see if I find his name randomly. Unfortunately, now we weren't able to find his name, but I'm pretty sure that he could be getting some scrolls to help with the levels. It's old crow, yeah. But anyway, like, my point still stands. Most of the highest level are Teutons, and this is how it should be. But look at the gap, like all of these are Teuton. Like, this is level 33, okay? Let me go down a bit. For some reason I can't click this. Actually, let me go to defensive players. Whiskey Colada. I mean, he has a lot of death points. Let me take the second one. So big. Let me check his level. 13! Alright, so this is the top 2 defender on the server. Maybe he's also buying scroll. He's level 13! Look at this guy! 20 level difference! Like, how the f are you supposed to deal with this? He already has maxed attack bonus, like 20% already bonus, and half of the, not half, but like a big portion of this total strength. Or vice versa. Max of the total strength and some point in attack bonus. Like, how the f do you deal with this? It's insane. 20 levels difference. 20. Like, what the f do you do? Oh god, I'm getting emotional and passionate here. So the way that I see things with regards to the tier 2 epic champions, they should actually be easier to target and get coins for and get higher level as a starting point, since you can save adventurers until tier 2 and spam them. They also... Wait, let me reread this because I'm not sure I understood. They should actually be easier to target and get coins for. And get higher... Okay, I understood. I mean, but what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen is still that Teutons will still have actually a gap. It won't exactly balance. Like let's say, I'm just for the sake of explaining things. It's not an actual number, but let's say Teutons are stronger than Romans in the early game by 60%. Okay. Now with the changes, it feels like it's way beyond 100%. Like it's definitely. Let's say we put Incitatus tier 2, it's not gonna go back to 60% the way it should be. Because simply because of the cost of like cavalry units to spam is already like more expensive than infantry. So they're still gonna have a little bit more edge. Like it's gonna be maybe 70, 80%. You know what I mean? Even if you put Incitatus tier 2, it's still not gonna exactly balance things as they were before. You're still gonna give an edge for Teutons who are using Caesar, simply because they can start spamming and utilizing Caesar way before people spamming cavalry. Because simply by the fact that it's more expensive and you need more villages and like setup to be ready to utilize Incitatus, if you know what I mean. So even this is not really a help. So I don't know what they should do. I honestly don't know, but this feels so annoying as a dev player. I don't know what to do. Like I'm just doomed from the start. Might as well just play off as from now on. I don't want to talk about anything else because this is the main issue I have. Start Cleopatra, utilize Caesar, go play Teutons, have fun while it's broken. Otherwise, you never know when they revert the changes or do something to counterbalance this. Um, get Edith maybe third champion or second champion, depends on your setup. This is not bad when you're playing in a setup like this. Like for example, we are yellow and green versus all of these. So in this case, maybe it's usable because I'm not gonna stay awake 24 hours. Then maybe you can use this champ. But if it was like a slower paced server and everyone is far away from each other, then I wouldn't really recommend this champ. But in this scenario, it's very nice because you can sleep peacefully without having to worry of your troops being gone every few seconds. And at the same time, I hate this because if we are supposed to destroy Teutons abusing Caesar, no, we can't. Like, I don't understand. Just play Teutons, guys. This is the summary of this video. Go play Teutons, spam clubs, and go like destroy any deaf player. Give them chaos. Give them like I don't know. Give them a hard time. I'm not gonna say anything toxic other than this. All right. Enough of the enough of the champs update. I'm done. My blood is boiling. I'm done. I vented out on stream. Salute!